All right, we're at one of my favorite dirt trails. I was here like 3 months ago on my little Honda 50, which I kind of sold in part to buy this. I just lowered the air on my tires a little bit to get a little more traction. I freaking love this trail. Let's see how we do here. Squirrels, of course. Squirrels, squirrels. Everywhere you look, squirrels. 4 squirrels. We're gonna count squirrels again on this freaking trip. It's kind of what I do, you know. So yesterday, I messed with the back of the back shocks on this thing. You can like twist this little dial, and it makes it have more bounce or less bounce, I guess. I know that's not really the technical way of saying it, but I gave it a little more bounce, and it's just even that much more comfortable. So that's pretty cool. So something to consider if you haven't done that. Play around with it a little bit. First, I dialed it all the way, I think clockwise, and it barely bounced at all. Like it had no give, and it was like sitting on a rock. And then I turned it like 5 times counterclockwise, and it's a lot smoother. So pretty cool. For those of you that don't recall, I have the all-terrain tires from SUPER73. I imagine I have more traction than if I had badges. I could pretty much say that for certainty, actually. One of the reasons why I like this trail is it's hard-packed, and it's got nice soft curves and some nice ups and downs, like some nice little dips. It's just like a sweet ride, you know? And when I did this on my little 50, it didn't have nearly as much power as this, especially going up like little hills here. And it was fun, but I really liked that it had dual suspension. And my mountain bike before this one didn't have the dual suspension. So I've been here on my mountain bike as well, my hardtail mountain bike, and it freaking hurt my butt. So I can tell you right now, with the dual suspension and because I adjusted it a little bit, butt's feeling good, people. Squirrel, 5 squirrels. A little bit of loose sand you gotta be careful of. 2 more squirrels, 7 squirrels for those of you that are counting, because I certainly am. Yeah, I'm not feeling these bumps. I definitely felt the bumps on my hardtail mountain bike. Didn't really feel them on my Honda 50, which I was kind of hoping this would be comparable to, and it is. So that's pretty cool. I mean, you can ride this thing in pavement all day long, but I feel like it really wants to be in dirt, you know? It's got the dual suspension, it's got the great handling. I don't know. This feels like it wants to be in dirt. So I feel like I'm doing it a favor when I bring it to dirt, you know? Treating my baby right. We're only going to go a little bit further here, then we're going to turn around. This is an awesome trail. I couldn't even get up this high on my little Z50 Honda 50. Didn't have the torque to get up this high, so I guess that's a plus for the SUPER73. It's got a little bit more torque than a little Honda 50. All right. Not bad, people. Meanwhile, look at this. Seeing these epic views, like beautiful. Wow. Loving it. Look at this. Picturesque. Damn. I gotta go get myself a little drink here. So today's goal in addition to counting squirrels, number 7, is to encounter no rattlesnakes and no cactus or cacti. So far, so good. Yeah, I think lowering that air pressure in my tires a little bit helped. I probably lowered them to like 20. Could have even gone lower probably. But that's something you do. That's something you do on dirt motorcycles too. I went to Cal City once in the desert, riding on a lot of sand, and we lowered them to like 5. And usually they were at like 35, the tires. Just gives it flattens them out at the bottom, gives it a little bit more surface contact, and I don't know, they're just a little more malleable, so it helps you in the turns and whatnot. And I'm enjoying my seat. I'm telling you, my ass will be hurting already in that freaking stock seat. You should really consider it. Squirrel, 8 squirrels. Can't tell, I'm going like, let's say 25 miles an hour right now, maybe. This is a tough turn right here. I remember that on my little Honda 50, I almost spun out. So I went about 22 miles an hour around that, not bad. I think it's definitely giving me the grip I want right now, which is pretty cool. You guys see that cloud up there? It's like a freaking mushroom cloud. Doesn't it look like a atomic bomb or something? You guys see that? Wow. Looks like an eruption. That is really cool. I think it's just picturesque. I mean, there's no other clouds in the entire sky except for that mushroom cloud. It makes you wonder, like, what the hell's causing that? But it is pretty cool. People, we're doing this. 22 miles an hour. So much better than my hardtail. For those of you that don't know, a hardtail is a mountain bike that only has suspension in the front. This being a dual suspension, no hardtail. Somebody asked me in one of my videos today that he's considering buying one of these bikes, and he really likes the S2, but you know, he likes the dual suspension aspect, but he's thinking about getting the S2. What do I think? And I was like, man, the dual suspension is so freaking key. It's unbelievable. I would just ditch the S2 idea and go with the dual suspension. It's so much better. It's like, oh, I can just only imagine. I've been on other mountain bikes with just front suspension, including my own, and it just doesn't hold your butt, man. It just kind of smacks your ass every time you come down over a hill, you know? You gotta have the dual suspension. Back suspension is key. And this bike got this big old spring in the back, and it just, man, it gives you a lot of cushion. Like, I didn't feel that right there. There was tons of bumps right there. You don't have dual suspension in the back. When you don't have suspension in the back, let's just say, you're jarred. Like every time you go over something, you're like jostled, you're jarred, you know, you come off the seat and all this. This, it just kind of absorbs it and takes it in stride, you know? I would advise, yeah, the S2 looks pretty cool, but I would advise get that R. Later on, you could probably add the headlight, because they're probably going to make that available. it pretty much looks the same, you know, it's actually a cooler color too, green. So I would advise the R all day long. Although I will say the Hudson Blue for the S2 does look pretty cool, but still. I mean, you want a bike or do you want something that's pretty to look at, you know? As pretty as this is to look at, I look at it more as a functional device than a freaking pristine trophy that I put on my shelf, you know? So this is the other part of the trail that I like. Cruising along at a cool 22 miles an hour. Feeling very few bumps, even though I'm encountering quite a few, and a bunch of rocks, and actually some loose sand, and I'm just flying through it like no problem. Again, I'm going a lot faster than I was on my little Honda 50, I know that for sure. And this thing is just so much bigger and longer and wider that it just, you know, it handles better. 10 squirrels, there you go. 10 freaking squirrels. I don't know if Southern California is just the squirrel capital of the world, but I've lived in other places and I've never seen so many squirrels in my life. Lived in Texas, lived in Kansas, lived in New Jersey. Never in my life. And I've ridden bikes and motorcycles in all those places, and I've never seen so many freaking squirrels. All right, so this is kind of the end of this part of the trail, because it goes up there and it's just way too steep. I don't know if you can see that. There's just no way we're getting up there on this, and we're gonna go back. All right, loving life, people. Life could be a lot worse during a pandemic than zipping around dirt trails when you're looking your little SUPER73. So I can tell you, one of my next videos is going to be replacement tires for the all-terrains. So yes, I had Badgers, didn't like them, had too much slippage around turns and on dirt. So I got the all-terrains from SUPER73. Now, after like 3 punctures, including some bark, some thorns, some other stuff, even with tire liners, I've just had it with the all-terrains. Yes, I've been raving about the all-terrains, but I've had it with them now. And I actually bought myself some Kenda Crusaders that are from Rad Power Bikes, and they put them on their bikes. They're thicker, they're a little heavier, they're harder rubber, and they have a tire liner built in. So let's say you then put your own tire liner, every double tire liner. So just so much more protection, I understand, and I'm just really excited about those. I ordered them, and they should be coming any day, and I'm gonna put those on, and then that'll be my next video about how happy I am with those. And then I can start my own tire shop, because I'll have 4 freaking tires that I'm not using. So anyway, that's what's coming up next. And if you just saw my last video, it's titled like Another Flat, I think. 5 minutes before I filmed that video, I had a freaking wipeout on a street, just making a little U-turn like a car would at an intersection. I didn't see any rocks or anything, but there must have been. And with my all-terrains, I freaking slipped. Bent my crank, screwed up my elbow, made my thumb bleed, bruised my ego. And that was with the all-terrain. So, you know, come on, people. Holes in the tires, slippages, I mean, come on. So I'm just not having a lot of faith in the tires from SUPER73. I think they're just too thin. And the crank arm. So where your pedal connects to the crank arm, when I ran into a rock a few weeks ago, totally bent the right crank arm. When I made that U-turn slippage the other day, bent the left crank arm. So now pedaling this thing It's like freaking pedaling a circus unicycle. It's just all wobbly and all over the goddamn place. So, not a big surprise. Not a big fan of the tires or the crank arms, the pedal crank arms from SUPER73. So, like the bike, like a lot of other stuff. Do not like that. Do not like the seat. And I'm not a huge fan of the handle grips either. But these are all things you can fix on your own. But I just thought I'd share my thoughts. Like right now, because I'm riding in dirt, I'm obviously gripping pretty tight. And my hands are a little sore because there's no give, there's no cushion on these handle grips. They're like rock solid. I don't know why you would want that. They look cool, but I'm probably gonna have to replace those soon. It's pretty much when you buy this bike, I got it for $24.99. You're probably right now looking at $27.50, I think. And at some point, it's probably gonna go back up to $3,000. You gotta figure 300 bucks for customizations. Tires, seat, grips, inner tubes, a bag, you know. And if you're like me and you make a couple mistakes by buying tires you don't like, and then buying tires you don't like, you know, you might have to make a couple extra corrections. So, I don't know. Bottom line is, when you buy the bike, you're not done, okay? People, you're not done. You definitely have more expenses to incur. Keep that in mind. Anyway, the Kenda tires from Rad Power Bikes also seem like they have more grip, and I'm like really excited about that because I like riding on dirt. I really do. And I don't really care if I give up a little bit of the cushion for smooth rideness on street because I've got knobbies. I don't care. I would just rather have grip on the dirt. It's more important to me. I'm seeing a lot of trails off to the left and right, but they're just too steep. I don't see anything I have making it up that, you know? Woo! Living large. Largely living. Oh. Back hurts from some of these, from just all this bouncing, you know. Time for another water break. Oh, God. One other thing is, I'll give you a little view of the bike. I haven't freaking washed this bike since I got it. Give you a little view of the bike there. I haven't washed the bike since I got it, and it's freaking dirty. So clearly I will be doing some washing. Like, look at the back seat. You guys see that? Like, Jesus Christ, I could freaking write my initials in that. Well, sort of. Anyway. All right. And for those that watched a couple videos ago, I don't even remember what it was called now. I had, oh yeah, the last one, sorry. The one about the flat tire. I had a hole with green goo coming out from my green slime from this big piece of bark. I got home, I pushed the bark. I was trying to get the bark to come out. Instead, I pushed it in, so it's probably in my inner tube right now. And it created a big old hole. And the slime couldn't handle it. So I had to, you know, open up the tire, pull out the inner tube, and patch it. I put on like 4 patches just to make sure it would hold. Unfortunately it did, but from Rad I also bought inner tubes, let's just say, because I feel like these are only going to last so long because they're compromised. All right, so here we go, going back. Sometimes you just got to stand up, you know what I mean? Let your legs give you some more cushion. Another squirrel. I think that's 11. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's 11 squirrels on a little 10-mile trip here, or 10-minute trip. 12 squirrels in one of my earlier videos. So let's see if we can beat that. 11 squirrels. Whoa, you guys see that shit? Oh, damn. I'm telling you, man. These Kendas are gonna give me better grip. I just feel it. I'm feeling it. Got some slippage, people. Granted, these are some sharp turns and there's some loose sand, so I'm not really blaming the tires, but I do feel like a full dirt tire instead of an all-terrain might do me better, so looking forward to that. See, these turns are pretty freaking sharp, man. Tell you what.